Hi guys, so today what we're going to do is make a flat image of star field twinkle, giving it a little bit more life and activating that image more for backgrounds. We're going to start with this image that I found online of a star field from the Hubble, and we're going to use motion to make that twinkle. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is open a new project with 1080p settings at 60 seconds, 30 frames per second. That should be just the standard default. We're going to import our stars image into our project here, and you can see from my inspector that it put it in at 30% scale. So it's a very high resolution image. What we're going to be doing is trying to remove the brightest stars from this image so that we can have them twinkling on top of the image. What we're going to need to do that is a copy of this group of stars. I can just call this stars original or IG so that we have it, and we will Command D or Control click on it and duplicate this group so that we can be working in this group, and we're going to turn this original group off for later use. Let's select our stars copied JPEG or image and go to the properties so that we can see them. We know that this is going to lay on top of the other image, so our blend mode will be screen. That means that only the lighter parts actually will affect the image underneath, which will be our stars. Let's add a filter, color levels. This will allow us to dial down all the brights so that we only see the most bright things, dial down all the blacks so that it's invisible. The settings, if you're following along, should be around 75 for the this little number here, and about 47 for this little slider. But these are just based on this image that I'm seeing here. Now, I know that what I'm going to get when I export this will be different than what I see, and that is because my render settings, you can see here, are set to normal, and I will be exporting this as best. So watch what happens when I select render best as our image viewing. You can see right away things change quite a bit, and this gives us a much clearer idea of what we're going to be seeing when we export this at that resolution level. So continuing on, we've got our stars pulled out for the most part. Let's go ahead and make anything that's black invisible. And to do that, we're going to use a Luma key. And a Luma key will allow us to just see the white and not the black. Anything that's black will be transparent. That'll allow us to see underneath. Now you can see when I added that, that's a little too much, so what you can do is you can adjust that just by dragging this slider here in the Luma area to about the middle, and that's what we were seeing before. You can turn that off and on, and you can see it just gives it a little bit more brightness, but what we're seeing are just the stars. So when I turn on this image below, you can see we can see right through it and not just see black. Of course, our Luma, our blend mode also helps. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is add the filter glow to the scene, and glow just will soften some of these stars a bit. I'm going to change the settings to about 8 for the radius and 3 for the opacity, and you can see that that just gives it a little bit more softness around those stars. Another filter I will be adding is aura. That'll pop everything quite a bit, so we're going to change our inner radius to around 28 and our outer radius to around 6 after playing with this, and then the brightness to around 100. And you might think that this is too much, and again, you can always dial things back, but this at least gives us an idea of what we're going to be working with here. And you can see if I turn on the image below, that you can now see the stars popping, but they're not as bright as you might have expected with this. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to figure out how do we make these stars twinkle. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a mask for this stars copy. So for this image, the way we add a mask is by right-clicking on it and selecting Add Image Mask. And this image mask now will allow us to only show the stars in this, that we want to see. But in order to have them twinkle, we need some type of moving image mask, something that allows black and white to kind of move in a way that's very random. Luckily, in our library area under generators, Motion gives us something called cellular, which is a fractal noise. We're going to drag that in to our thing here. I'm just going to call this group fractal, or at least frac. And I'm going to select my cellular thing, and I'm going to hit the spacebar so you can see what this looks like. And what I'm going to do is change some of these settings so that, because the idea is that wherever there is white, the stars will peek through, and wherever there is black, we won't see those stars. So let's modify some of these things. First off, let's make the size 20 so it's a little bigger. And also, let's change the speed to like 1.5 so that moves a little faster so that the stars twinkle quicker. We are also going to open up the gradient area here, and I'm going to bring up the black slider. It's kind of like a levels for cellular. And that'll allow the black to be solid black, which means no stars will shine through accidentally. Only the area that have the white will actually affect the stars. I'm also going to pull the white up a little bit so that the white is a little bit more prominent, which will allow the brightness of the stars to be more prominent as well. You can move the middle slider to kind of adjust things, and you can come back to this cellular after the fact to adjust things. So now I've got my cellular settings, I've got my fractal noise. Let's go back to our stars copy here with our image mask, right? And we're going to now drag this cellular layer into that mask. When we do that, it'll turn off that cellular layer, so we all of a sudden do not see it, right? But nothing's changed, although we see that the cellular mask is here. And the reason why is because we're looking at the alpha channel, and really what we want to be looking at is the black and white information, the luminance channel. As soon as we do that, we get our sparkling sky stars. And just this might be useful for you in general for like the idea of sparkling midnight sky. When we add this to our stars image, you can see right away that it's just not enough brightness in that in those stars to make a difference to this photograph, because the photograph is so bright. So a couple things we could do. Let's take this photograph that we started with. Let's add two filters to it. I'm going to add a brightness filter, and I'm going to dial that down to about 0.5. That makes it a little bit darker. And I'm also going to add a gamma filter. This will give us a little bit of contrast to the image. I'm going to dial that down to like 0.86. And already we can see that the stars are actually moving and blinking a little bit. You can kind of see them in the area. It's very subtle, so for maybe movies or something like that, this would be useful. But we can go further. We can pop these stars a little bit more. So let's select our stars twinkling and add the same type of filters that we would normally do if we needed to make things brighter. We're going to add contrast first. I'm going to turn off the background so you can see what's going on. So on the contrast, I'm going to only affect the luminance of the contrast here of the stars, and I'm going to bring the contrast up as, let's see, and you can kind of see how that really does pop those stars, right? They makes those stars just so much more bright. Let's make it like 4. That should do it. And then finally, if we want to, we can add one more color correction called brightness. And then if we want, we can pull that brightness up, and that really does fully pop those stars. So as you can kind of see, those stars are now, it might not seem it, but this entire image is now activated with stars and movement. Super subtle still. If you want to if you really need to pop this and you don't want to dial down the visibility of the stars, you can always take your twinkling stars here, and you can create a clone layer, right? Make clone layer, and you can see as soon as you do that, that clone layer really pops, and we can go ahead and change that blend mode to screen, right? So that only you can kind of see only the light is actually affecting the underlying image. And if you needed even brighter than that, you could duplicate that clone layer. It doesn't take any more resources, and the more you duplicate it, the more those stars become active. I'm not going to take away a couple of those duplicates, but I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to call it finished. And we're going to go ahead and export this or share it. Make sure our settings are on best, and export this as their stars number 2. And let's see what we have. And hopefully this helped a little bit, and you could use this technique for other things as well. Thanks for watching.